And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Galatians chapter 6 verse 9. 11. The number of transition. And so aptly again the Spirit has spoken to me to write, especially when I am in this season, this time of transition. And with so many events unfolding and God leading me to 3 different places to minister in these 2 months, what I have seen is that the people of God are in a season of transition. I believe it is a shift that God had orchestrated from times past. However, in this shifting, I also see a season where the shakings are happening. And not just for the people of God, but everyone's position is changing. A move that is ushering in the great final awakening and the great revival, ushering in the great harvest. Praise God, we get to not just witness, but be a partner to this great move of God. Today I thought I had a topic in mind and I felt that the topic was not going to change like usually, but it did, and with a twist. I myself was surprised because I hadn't planned on this, but as evening approached and with this writing going on a back burner, while him leading me to connect with many people over messages and voice notes, being led to pray for people who I haven't been in touch for ages and hearing the stories of transition or symbolic changes in their lives, which was not really a surprise, as from the start of this new month could feel and sense the shift, and then getting to hear so many miracle stories of breakthroughs and answered prayers of many years had just got me so joyful in my spirit, and maybe all of that led me to write the story very plainly from my heart. I shall start with where I left from, the wind of change, and I don't know how many people understood what I shared the last time. Whether they could feel the wind of change in their lives, I don't know. But what I do know is that this wind of change has indeed blown and has touched many of us, some for the positive and some for the negative. In the beginning of this year, when a group had sat for the whole night prayer, seeking His face for His will in our lives, He had specifically told us to choose joy, as this year would be a year of trials and persecution. But again, that was something that was inherent, as He pointed it to us, as He had already told us in His word. Then he crossed that word and he gave us another word instead. He said, "This is a year of reaping what you have sowed. And those who have sowed much will reap much, and those who have sowed little will reap little. And those who haven't," he said, "there is still time, especially this year, to do that, as this year is a year of double grace." For me, being here at the farm, I understood what he meant and the importance of sowing and reaping and the value of time. What I have learned so far is that if you miss one season to sow, then you will have to wait the entire year to sow some crops. We ourselves have been a victim of that in the past and the regret that followed. In agriculture, I'm really learning the importance of time. So important to sow just at the right season. Otherwise, if you don't, then you are faced with either stunted growth or disease on the crops, or sometimes no growth as well, because not only time is essential, but the other factors like seed, rain, sun, and the fertilizers are also equally important. Also, which seed are you sowing is equally important. Firstly, because sometimes the seeds have expired or do not come from a healthy mother plant and hence do not sprout at all. Or sometimes other factors like the weather also makes a difference. Another lesson I learned while planting seeds for the first time was that I had planted them too deep and put in too much water that some didn't sprout at all. There was a method to do it right, which I only learned after I had planted it. A regret which was of no use except for a lesson well learned. These past 2 months from my travels, I saw fruits of seeds well sown. All of the above conditions were in place, and we could witness such bountiful harvest of souls. It was such a delight to watch and be a witness to what God was doing in people's lives. However, in some cases, also saw that there were no seeds sown and hence no harvest to boast of. But the good news for us is that there is still time. A time to sow again. Praise God for His love and grace that is still with us. But today, as I have pledged to share my heart out, I shall talk of a time that is already here. A time to sow will no longer be there, a time of shakings. Maybe we all feel it in small proportions, but I speak of a time where the shakings will be more, a shaking that will usher in a great revival. However, this is not a new revival, but will be birthed from the revivals of the old. It is going to be the digging of the old wells of revival, something that God has been speaking to me for a couple of months, and which we began to see it as a group as well. Maybe God leading me to speak of Kairos time wherever He led me last year was a preparation for that, a ground preparing hearts for Jesus, for His return. Something God had spoken in 2019, but was only led to share publicly last year. We are being ushered into this time of transition, into a time of shakings, a time of the latter rains, a Kairos time, a God-appointed time, ushering in about this great revival, where all His chosen hearts will beat for Him and Him alone. But the question lies today for me and you. Are we sowing the right seed? Are we sowing the seeds at the right time or in the right season? Are we watering it on time? Have we given the right fertilizers for the seed? Is there enough light? The time of the latter rains will be here, where the seeds that have sown will sprout. But the answer lies within you. Have you sown the seeds?